So yeah, I was just saying, please bear with me today as I kind of get through this. I've actually been off work from my day job this week, so this is kind of most of it, the only work I've done this week. But I really didn't want to cancel today because it's been in your diaries for a really long time, and we've been super excited about it here at Protein Pick 5B. So yes, we're here, which is the main thing. That was a really waffling way of starting today. Sorry, guys. Anyway, as I said, Callum is in the background. So any questions or comments as we go through today's craft along, please just let Callum know and he'll get back to you as we go through today. And I have got notes to help me get through today because I don't trust my ill-tired brain at the minute. So if I keep looking down, that is why. I just wanted to highlight that today we are fundraising for cats protection, and £10 of your kits will support cats protection to make a better life for cats. So we're quite honoured to be invited to help fundraise for cats protection with this collaboration, and thank you so much for your generosity, because without you joining in this collaboration we wouldn't be able to improve the life of cats in the way that cats protection do. So I just wanted to highlight that and say thank you, really. I also want to point out you do not need to finish your cards today. Hopefully we will get through at least one card. We definitely won't get through all three, but that's fine, because actually with iris folding the process is the same for all of the designs. So you don't need to worry about finishing all three today's session. This tutorial will apply to all three designs, and we'll make sure that you are well equipped to everything in your kit at the end of today. And of course you can rewind, play back, those kind of things if you needed to pause and go at a different pace to what I'm doing. So please don't feel any kind of need to rush or keep up as we go through today. I also want to point out that you can post your pictures in the Facebook group. I've seen so many cat cards pop up over the last few weeks. Callum and I every morning kind of check the group, having a look what you guys have been doing, and it's amazing to see how you guys have been playing with the colours to replicate your own cats. I think that's so creative, especially when iris folding to a lot of you is brand new. So very impressive that you have been able to do that with iris folding, and yeah, excited to see some of your pictures. So please post them in the group. We really look forward to seeing them, and I know the cats protection team, who some of them are here today, also love seeing your pictures. So yes, please share them. And then we've got the hashtag #CraftForCats that you can use when you share your photos as well. Now, before I get on to the iris folding process and what we're going to be doing today, what I want to talk to you a little bit about is the concept of mindful crafting. So I will get into how I started iris folding later on, but I have one kind of challenge or ask of you today, and that is that you go through this process without criticism or judgment for what you are doing, and you pay attention to colours and patterns and be present in the moment. So that's kind of my one ask for you as we go through today, is to not think too harshly about what it is you're doing, what the result might look like, but just enjoy the process and relax into it. I realise that's easier said than done, but if you can try do that today, then I'm hoping you will end this session feeling a little bit more relaxed than maybe you started the day with. Okay, so materials gathered, ready. Hopefully you guys had the list of things you will need before we get started today. So I've got my Craft for Cats box, got my tape in my tape dispenser. Now I know some of you might not have a tape dispenser, that's fine. It does make it a little bit easier, but don't worry too much about the tape dispenser. If you haven't got a tape dispenser, what I would recommend at points as we go through today is you kind of pre-cut lots of little strips and maybe stick them to the edge of your table just so they're ready.
Can I point some out?
Go on, Callum.
Can you try unmute that phone, just because there's a microphone symbol in the middle of the screen which they can see?
Oh, okay. Let's
and just see if it echoes on.
Let's
might
see.
Not.
Hang on, let me
Maybe
swap them.
Yeah.
Let me unmute that one.
Turn the volume up. And that should be fine.
Okay. Any better? We now not got a microphone in the middle of the camera.
That looks good to me.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Well, that was easily solved.
Perfect.
Thanks, Kath. It's helpful having a little technical hand in the background, isn't it? Well, thanks, Sarah. I keep looking in different places because Callum's this side of me. I'm like upside down on my camera here. Yeah. And there's another camera here. the behind the scenes would be quite entertaining, and because I'm using Callum's phone as well as my phone, I can't even take a picture to show you the behind the scenes right now, but it does look quite odd. Anyway, so what I was saying is materials gathered. So hopefully you got the list of things that you will need in advance today. You've got your Craft for Cats box, your tape, scissors, a little bit of white tack or blue tack, and then either a glue stick or double-sided tape. And this is optional because we're only going to use this to add an insert at the end to your card, which isn't necessary. So please do not worry if you don't have either of these to hand. It's just a kind of finishing touch that's optional, so don't worry too much about that. The most important thing is that you've got your scissors, your tape, and your white tack or blue tack, and of course your Craft for Cats box. So I thought I'd start by unboxing the kit, talking you through what's inside and how we're going to use each thing. I'm sure many of you have opened it already. In fact, I'd be really interested to know how many of you have waited till today to open your box, or whether you just couldn't contain your excitement and you had to have a look inside before today. Let Callum and I know, because I know that if I get a present or a box like this in the post, I have to look inside. There is not a chance I could wait, especially if I ordered right at the start. I could not wait weeks to have a look inside. So yeah, please let me know. But I will unbox it with you today either way, so you know what's in the kit and how we're going to use each thing. So let me open it up.
We had one waited by Dawn, and then Sarah opened it immediately.
Quite a contrast there with Dawn and Sarah. I would be the open it immediately, so I completely understand that one. I do not have the patience that some of you at home might have to wait until today. Okay, so on top we've got a little note from Thank You for Cats Protection. Have a read. Make sure you check out what they're doing online and where your funds will be going. But overall, they will be going towards helping make a better life for cats, like I said. So again, thank you for your donations and for your support for Cats Protection. Okay, so let's have a look inside. Now, on top here, you will have 2 pieces of glitter card. You should have a gold and a silver with a little sparkle to them. And we'll use these to add the kind of finishing touches to our design and maybe the centre of the iris folding. We'll see how we get on. Here you've got your iris folding guide. Now I'm going to talk you through this process step by step, so you won't need this today. But if you ever want a refresher or some extra pictures, this does take you through the process from start to finish as well. So I'll just have a little flick through it. There's a little bit of a story and a background about Pretty in Paper and myself, and I will share a bit more about that today, a bit more kind of an exclusive background. You've got a bit about mindful crafting, so that's kind of what I was saying at the start, in the sense of it's about paying attention to the process, relaxing into the moment and not thinking too harshly about the result, and just being kind to yourself. And then this is you time. This is time for you to be creative, to have fun, to enjoy the colours that you're using, the shapes that we're making, and relax into that. We've got some hints and tips. I will highlight all of those hints and tips today too. And a little bit about preparing your aperture. Now in this kit, they are pre-cut for you. Your aperture sounded very posh as I said that then. Do you know what happened to my voice? My aperture is the shape cut out of the card. So you've got various different cat-shaped apertures in your kit. That's what we refer to as an aperture, is a piece of card with a shape cut out of the middle. Now we've done that for you. We've cut out your shape for this kit, which makes it a lot easier. But this just highlights that there are a couple of other ways to prepare apertures generally. We've got a bit about the tools you'll need and preparing your workspace, preparing your papers. And like I said, I will talk through all of these things later today. But I will point out that in here on this page, there is a QR code that you can scan for more video tutorials for other designs. So if you do ever need any extra help or you want to try other kinds of designs, our YouTube channel can be found here, and there's lots of videos online too. Okay. Now these are foam sticky pads. If you are a crafter, you might have seen these before because they're often a bit of a craft basic in a craft room. And we'll use these to finish off our card and mount it to the coloured card blank. So I'll show you how we use these later on. But they're sticky on both sides, and you'll notice that they have a bit of depth to them, and there's a reason for that, which I will explain later on. And then on the top here, we've got the greetings. So this is often our favourite bit when we're preparing our craft kits at Pretty in Paper, because we absolutely love choosing puns and different kinds of sentiments to match the designs in our products. And we had so much fun thinking of cat and kitten related puns. And I'm sure there'll be some of you out there who hear a pun and cringe at the thought and would never put that on anything they've made. And that is absolutely fine. There's lots of kind of traditional, more standard sentiments in here too, like happy birthday, but you also have your one cool cat and your perfect. So you can have a flick through here, or fur mum. I quite like that one. I think that's quite cute. So yes, how you can have a flick through, and hopefully there'll be something on here that you like and you can finish off your cards with today.
We've got a very good question.
Go on, Callum.
From Patience, asked, why is it called iris folding?
Oh, that's a really good question. So iris folding, it refers, because the iris folding technique, let me get, hang on, one of the samples here. Let's use this one. This one. So as you can see on this card here, iris folding creates a spiral effect, a bit like a camera lens. And the iris refers to the iris of an eye, not the flower, which is often why a lot of people think they hear the word iris and think of a flower. So it kind of spirals towards the centre point, and actually originated from Holland. There's a little bit of a brief history from what people have dug up online, but actually it's thought that people used to do this with the inside of envelopes in Holland and cut envelopes into paper strips and create designs, because the inside of envelopes often have patterns on, or a way to kind of reuse paper. So yeah, that's a little bit of history of iris folding, but that is what I've got from the internet, and there are lots of different theories as to where it's come from. So please do not take that word as textbook here. But approximately the Netherlands, 1800s, spiral effect resembles a camera lens and the centre of an eye. Thank you for that question. That was a really good one. Okay, so under our embellishments and sentiments, we have our iris folding patterns and colour guides. So the patterns are effectively templates. This is what you'll use to tell you where your paper strips go and in what order. So you've got 3 different patterns here. You've got your mother cat, your kitten, and your cat profile. And like I said, we're probably just going to make one of these on the call today, but the process to make all 3 of these is exactly the same. So you don't need to worry about the fact that we're just going to make one today. Now, as I'm unboxing this kit, it would be fantastic if you could vote in the comments for which one that you'd like me to make on video today. As I said, it doesn't matter because the process is the same, but I might as well make the one that most of you are making at home. So if you could drop in the comments whether you're making the mother cat on its own, the card that has the mother cat and the kitten, or the side profile with me today, and I will make the one that has the most votes. I'll let Callum kind of keep an eye on that as I go through. Now, to go with our patterns, we also have a colour guide. So you use this to tell you what colour goes with what number on your template. And you'll notice that there are 6 colour guides because this is double-sided. And you'll also notice that for each design, there's both a spiral and an alternate version of the colour guide. And I'll explain what those differences are later on. But they're just something to bear in mind, that you will choose which kind of style you're going for. Now, underneath that, we have our apertures, or apertures, if we're going with my posh voice earlier today. You have the mother cat on its own. Here you go. So cut out for you to match the pattern in exactly the same way. So that kind of saves a lot of that fiddling around. But if you ever did want to cut your own apertures, you can use this as a little bit of a template, trace around the inside of the cat and cut it out with a craft knife to create some of your own.
Mother cat is winning by a landslide at the moment.
Okay, mother cat is winning, noted.
A few cat profiles.
Interesting. Okay, maybe we start with the mother cat. You've got time to drop your votes in, guys, because I've not got to the bottom of the box yet. You've also got your mother cat and kitten aperture. So again, these are cut out to match the patterns exactly as they are. And you've got your cat side profile. Now, okay, alongside the embellishments being in the top of my favourite bits of the kits, I think the papers must be one of the best.
Quite blurry at the moment. I don't know if it's worth trying to try
Which
3G.
camera? Both?
You on my phone is probably the most blurriest.
Okay.
It keeps varying in blurriness.
Let's see.
We could just try the 3G.
Yeah, I'll go off Wi-Fi and see if that makes a difference. Might be because both cameras are on the Wi-Fi. Okay. Let's give that a go and see. Yeah.
Okay, yours is really good now. We're pretty good now, I'd say.
Better?
On my screen. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, please do let us know. I've switched one of my cameras to not Wi-Fi, so okay.
We've got better, perfect. Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, nice. Let's keep going because this is the bit that Callum always demos better than me.
To get the quality better.
If you didn't catch that at home, Callum was saying that's why he stopped me there because this is his favourite bit of unpacking our kits. And when we demonstrate our kits on Hobby Maker TV and we do it live, Callum often does this part and he is so much better at fanning these papers out than I am. So I will try do him justice here with my fanning. But Callum does this in such a smooth, effective way that puts everyone else to shame in their paper fanning. Who knew it would be a skill that you'd need at some point in your adult life, Cal? Okay, so as I mentioned, papers. Now, one thing to note about iris folding paper is it is a particular weight. So with iris folding, it's quite important that the paper is between 80 and 120 GSM. Any thicker and the designs can get too bulky, which tends to ruin some of the effect that it can have. So the papers that are in your kit are all 80 GSM, which means they're quite light, but not too thin that they go translucent. You've still got a decent amount of colour block to them, but they will fold nicely and not be too bulky as a design. So you've got a range of colours in here, hopefully enough to create some of your cats at home. And yeah, we tried to make sure that we're all the key colours for cat related designs and consulted Cats Protection regularly to make sure that we've got all the different coloured cat combinations that hopefully you can create. So hopefully you've got a good selection here today.
It might be worth doing both on 3G.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me turn Wi-Fi off this one.
This one keeps varying.
Okay.
The shot down, yeah.
I give it a couple of seconds to switch over.
We'll sacrifice our signal, our data.
Just for you guys. Okay. Is any better?
Just catching up, I think. Looks good to me.
Yeah. Okay. So underneath our papers, we've got our insert paper. So these are what you can add inside the card just to make it feel a little bit more premium, and they are textured, which always gives a nice finishing touch, but it is completely optional. Some of you might prefer just to keep the colour block inside the card. So you've got 2 square and 1 A5 insert paper here. Then you've got your 3 coloured card blanks. So we'll mount our iris folding designs to these. So you've got a blue square, a kind of a bluey grey square. We call this marine blue. It's a really lovely shade of blue. Then you've got brown and an orange A5 card blank there, and they're to mount our iris folding designs to the front. And then at the bottom, you've got your envelopes, so you can send your cards, or some of you might choose to frame them, and hopefully we can show you a little example of that later too. Now, okay, that was a thorough unboxing, and hopefully we've got the technical things sorted now for the demo too. Hopefully they'll be a little bit more reliable. Okay, so now I've unpacked the box, what I'm going to do is get out some things to make one card. Now, Callum, have you got a verdict on our voting?
I think Mother Cat wins it.
Mother Cat.
A lot of people making Mother Cat.
Okay.
I want to see that
one. What I'm going to do, just in case we do get some time, I'm going to actually start with the card that has both the Mother Cat and Kitten on, in case I get some time to also do the kitten for you.
Louise says, can see perfect manicure now.
Oh, thanks. I did get little daisies added the other day. I hope you can appreciate the daisies, guys. Okay, so I do love my nails. It's one of my favourite things about my job is having my nails done. I think it finishes the aesthetic of demonstrating quite nicely. Should have coordinated coordinated with the cats, really. Does that mean I have to use the blue card blank? Okay, yeah, let's go with the mother cat and the kitten card.
Mother cat one, just saying.
Mother cat one.
Are you going with mother cat?
I'm gonna go with mother.
Right.
Well, I just thought what I'll do, because I'll make the mother
on.
cat. That's what I mean. I'll make the mother cat first because that one, because it making the mother cat next to the kitten is the same as making the mother cat on its own. And if we get time, I'll also do the kitten because it's on the same card too. That's what I thought I'd do.
It's a good plan.
So because I'm doing the A5 design, I've got out the A5 card blank. If you're doing one of the square designs, so the mother cat on its own or the side profile, you'll need to get out one of the coloured card blanks that you're going to use to match it. So I'm going to put these to the side for now and get out my A5 aperture and A5 card blank. And I'm going to move the box to the side too because I'm not going to need that. And I'm also going to make sure I've got my pattern and colour guide ready too. So I'll put those there. The greetings and sentiments, I'm just going to keep to one side because I will want those at the end. So I'm just going to kind of put out of shot, but they're there when we want to add some finishing touches. Same with the insert papers. I'm going to put those back in the box because they're just something we add on at the end. So I don't need those right now. And going to make sure I've got my foam pads out ready, so I'll put them to one side. Won't need the iris folding guide because you're lucky enough to have me instead today, so I'll put that to one side. Glitter card we'll need towards the end to finish off, so I'll just put that up there with my greetings ready. And I've got my pile of papers ready to choose something from shortly. And like I said at the beginning, you should have your scissors, tape, and a little bit of blue tack or white tack to hand as well. So I'll just give you guys a couple of minutes to get those things together. Choose your aperture, pattern, colour guide, the 3 tools here. And we'll get, while you're getting this together, I might just have a sip of my coffee. 2 hours is a long time to listen to my voice. I hope by the end of it you're not fed up of it. Usually when we oh, thanks, Cal. Usually when we do TV shows, it's just for an hour and we do them together, so it's sharing of our voices. But this is 2 hours of intensive Bethan voice today. I don't know if
see where people are crafting from.
Oh, Callum wanted me to ask, whereabouts are you crafting from today? So whereabouts in the UK are you, or maybe in the world? So we're in Holmfirth, which is West Yorkshire, very kind of countryside town life. However, I actually live in London most of my time, so I live in Canary Wharf in central London, which is quite a contrast to West Yorkshire, but I enjoy the best of both worlds. I get to spend some of my time in a very busy, vibrant city and also come back to quaint, quiet rivers and hills on my weekends and for the business. So yeah, I'd be really interested to hear where you guys are crafting from today. Let Callum know. That was one of the things he told me to ask while I was on air, was where are you crafting from?
Amanda from Staffordshire.
Okay, Staffordshire. I wonder if we've got any other people from the same place that maybe don't know each other.
That'd be cool.
Okay, so hopefully you guys have got your materials ready and we can get started with setting up our workspace. Now the card blank you also won't need it till a little bit later on, so I'm just going to put that to one side. The thing that you're going to need first is your pattern and a little bit of white tack, and I'm just going to pull off about a pea size amount from the white tack, and I'm going to make 4 little balls to put on the back of the pattern, and then just temporarily stick the iris folding patterns to the surface. Do that now. So we just do this so that the pattern doesn't move throughout the process, keeps it in the same place. You can do blue tack or white tack, or maybe masking tape is another kind of temporary adhesive that you could use for this. I know some people like to laminate their patterns just to kind of keep them protected, because you can use these over and over again. Just make sure that's nice in the middle there. Okay. There we go. So once you've got your patterns stuck to your table, you're then going to blue tack or white tack your aperture over the top. So if you're doing the mother cat and kitten cards, you'll see they line up, the numbers and lines line up quite nicely here. Or you might do the side profile, and in which case you'd white tack your aperture up here. So we'll just put a few bits of white tack again on the front. So this is actually the front, and the front goes face down over the pattern. So you can see the numbers and lines through the middle. There.
Susan's from Bethan says her brother lives in Debberdale.
Oh, that's not too far from us. Countryside life. Yeah. Okay, so hopefully you guys have got your pattern and your aperture set up. If I'm ever going too quickly, please just say, and I can slow down a little bit. I'm not used to not seeing the people I'm teaching in a workshop at the same time. Usually workshops I'm doing face to face, so I can kind of tailor it. But yeah, please let me know if I'm ever going too quick and I can slow down. So pattern and aperture set up, ready. This one side. Now it's time for preparing your papers. So now this will depend on a couple of things. It will depend on if you are trying to make a design that looks like one of your cats, or if you're trying to keep the process as simple as possible. The easiest thing to do when choosing your papers is to choose the papers that match the colour guide of the design you're doing. So in terms of number of papers, I don't recommend using more than 4. Even if you are trying to replicate your own cat, using more than 4 can get a little bit complicated and a little bit too much. So I recommend a maximum of 4. 3 can also be a little bit tricky. So between 1, 2 and 4 is probably recommended. But like I said, that is purely just if you're trying to keep the process as simple as possible. If you want to play and replicate your own cats, you can choose as many papers and what other combinations that you like. So looking at your colour guide, for those of you that are keeping it as simple as possible, you want to look at the colour guide that matches the design you've chosen. So I've got the mother cat and the kitten here, and so I'm looking at these 2 colour guides, and both of them have 4 colours. So if I'm keeping it simple, I choose the 4 colours that match these 4 boxes here, or I can choose 4 completely different ones. Now, I'm going to show you what you would do if you were to choose 4 completely different ones, just because I know lots of you are probably wanting to make your own cats and they might not be in the colours that are on the guide. So I'm going to choose brown. Let's kind of go tri-coloured. Let's do brown, orange, black, and cream, maybe? Cream or white? Let's do cream because it stands out a little bit better on the white card background. Okay, like I said, some of you might just be doing a cat all in one colour, might be doing all black. That's absolutely fine too. Just choose, pull out 1 sheet of each colour that you would like to use. Now the next part of the process, you're going to cut some strips of paper from these sheets. Now the number of strips will depend on the number of colours that you've chosen. If you've chosen 4 colours, I'm going to recommend about 2 strips of each colour. If you've chosen 3 colours, I'd still go with 2 of each colour. If you've chosen 2 colours, I'd go with 3 strips of each colour. And if you've chosen 1 colour, I'd different type of activity method, cut about 6 strips. Now, in terms of how wide and how to cut your strips, one thing I love about iris folding is straight lines really don't matter when it comes to cutting. So you can cut your papers all at once, and you're going to cut them about 2 centimetres or 1 inch if you prefer metrics and inches, 1 inch wide. And again, doesn't matter if they're straight. I promise you it really doesn't affect the end result. So just going to roughly cut a couple of strips about 2 centimetres wide. Like I said, you can cut them all together because it doesn't matter if they're straight or not, and I will explain why later on, but just trust me, that doesn't matter.
Claire's asked, will it work if you place them randomly?
So in terms of the order that we place them, I'll explain a little bit about that in a second. Just get my strips ready. One thing that's really important to remember. Oh, have I frozen? I look like I've frozen to me.
You have frozen.
Am I back?
Yeah. Probably.
Yes. I froze for a second, so I just paused.
You are back. You are
Okay,
back.
nice. I'm back. So, to answer the question that just came in, it doesn't matter what order the colours go in. What does matter is the numbers on the pattern. So you're always going to go in number order, but in terms of what colour goes where on those numbers, it doesn't matter. The colour guide is simply there as a suggestion to help you create a result that we know putting colours in those kind of orders works. But if you're trying to replicate your own cat, and your own cat might be mostly black with a little bit of a white chest, you might choose when we get to number 13 and 17, which are on the chest here, to use a white piece of paper. That's okay too. But what is really, really important is you always go in numerical order. So you're always going to start at number 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, and follow the numbers around the pattern. But in terms of what colour goes where, you can play. Or to keep it simple, you can use the colour guide, and that will tell you what colour goes where too. I hope that answers the question. It might make a little bit more sense as we get through the process too. Okay, hopefully that's given you enough time to cut your strips. Now what I like to do is to lay my strips out. I'm right-handed, so I prefer them on the right-hand side. If you're left-handed, you might prefer your strips on the left. Is to lay my strips out on the right over here, just so that they're nice and tidy to one side. I've got all the colours in the same place so that they're easy for me to grab as I go through the process. I'll let you guys just get your strips organised to one side. Now, one thing that you're going to need to think about as we move forward here is whether you're going to use the spiral or the alternate colour guide. So remember I mentioned earlier that there are 2 colour guides for each design. So for the Mother Cat and Kitten card here, I've got a spiral guide and an alternate. For the Mother Cat, you've got the spiral here and the alternate on the other side. And for the cat profile, you've got both the spiral and the alternate here too. Now, in terms of which you choose and the kind of style and results that are how it's gonna look different, I'll just get a couple of cards out and you can see the kind of difference in effect. So, got a couple of side profile cats here. Now this side profile to the right is a spiral effect. So each colour builds on top of each other in one solid block. So it creates quite a solid spiral towards the middle. The alternate style is this one to the left here, where the papers, as it says in the name, alternate towards the middle rather than following in one solid colour block. So if you have a cat that has more of a stripy pattern, you'd probably go for an alternate colour guide. If you have more of a solid colour cat that's just tonally different, so for example, a grey cat that has a white chest, which, you know, as it walks, the grey kind of looks a little bit more bluey in some lights and a little bit darker in others, you might go for more of a spiral effect. Completely up to you which you pick, and because you've got 3 cards in your kit, or if you bought the add-on, you've got 6 to play with, you've got plenty of time to try all the different styles and the different results. So put those to one side. Now, because I've kind of gone for tri-coloured tonally colours here, I think I'm going to do the alternate colour guide, which means I'm going to be following this colour guide at the top here. So what I like to do, because I'm using different colours to the 4 boxes up here, is I'm just going to cut a section off the end of each of my strips and place it in the box that I'm going to use instead. So I'm going to use this cream as paper colour A. Going to use black as paper colour B. Brown, paper colour C. and the orange as paper colour D. And this is just helpful for remembering what colour you're choosing to use instead. Now, if you're doing all your numbers in the same colour because you're only using one colour, well, you don't need to do that bit because you don't need to remember. You are just always going to use the same colour. But if you're using different numbers of papers or different colours, I often find this quite helpful for just remembering. And also, bit of a tip, if you are someone that crafts in kind of small chunks and you might not finish your card at once, that's absolutely fine. What you can do is put a little bit of white tack on each of these sections and just temporarily stick it to the box. And that way, if you end up coming back to your craft later, those strips aren't going to move and you're not going to lose track of what colour goes where. Okay. I'll just give you guys a cup of a sip of my coffee while you guys put your little strips in boxes. Okay, so now you've got your colour strips ready, your colour guide prepared, you know what colours going where. What I recommend you do before we begin is just fold one strip of each colour lengthways. Now you're going to fold approximately a third of the way down. Doesn't matter too much, you can fold it completely in half, that's fine too. It also doesn't matter, again, if it's straight or not. So please don't worry about it being straight. Really doesn't affect the end result. So I would start by folding one of each colour and you can fold more as you go through later on. Just get them prepared, ready to go. One of each colour. So lengthways, about a third of the way, doesn't need to be completely in half. You're just creating that fold. It doesn't matter too much about how much it's folded over. Okay, give you guys a couple of seconds to fold your paper strips. Please, please do not worry about them being straight. I know that is one of those things that if you're someone who really likes things organised, that having non-straight lines feels so uncomfortable. Because, as I mentioned earlier, we're working from the back of the card. Actually, you don't see how your fold is folded. That's a bit of an odd sentence, how your fold is folded. But made sense.
As folded?
Oh, I just blew my bits of paper. That's why you should blue white tap them down, guys. There we go. I'll try not to do any deep breaths. Okay. So you should have one of each of your papers folded to the side, your colour guide up above. Now, the iris folding process. Time to begin. So iris folding is a little bit like paint by numbers. You follow your colour guide going in number order around, building it up layer by layer towards the middle. So you always start at number one. That is the most important thing to remember here. So you look for number one on your colour guide. So for me, number one is in paper colour C box. But for example, if you're doing the mother cat on its own spiral, number one is paper colour A. Pick up your paper strip that matches the box of your paper colour number one. So for me, that's brown. Got my brown paper strip. Now, I recommend for the next 60 seconds before you do anything, you watch me do one. Just because sometimes it's hard to watch and do at the same time. So I'm going to do one and then I'll give you a chance to replicate what I've just done. But it's quite helpful to watch this part of the process while not trying to do it at the same time. So, got my strip of paper colour A, of paper colour C for me in this case, number one. Now I'm going to cut a section of this strip big enough to cover number one on my guide. So what I like to do is place it over number one and then I'll just fold the paper here so I can mark roughly how long I need to cut my strip. And cut a section like that, ready to cover number one. So you've got the folded edge, is going to go along the line here. And then your paper strip should overlap a little bit at each end, like that. Okay? So it's going to cover up number one, folded edge, and the flap, so the fold here, is going to face upwards because this is the back. Like that. This way sticky tape comes in. So you just need a couple of pieces of sticky tape, one at each end. One at each end. There you go. Put it down. Callum's just handing me a different colour guide because I think I had our original sample kit that has nowadays colour guide in, which isn't very helpful.
No.
Oh well. So I've got the correct colour guide here. Let me just slide these back on.
Everyone should have number 1, is it?
Everyone should have paper colour. Number 1 is paper colour A. Oh.
I sabotaged you.
You sabotaged me. Well, that's not very nice. Okay, let me just swap out my colour guide. So, same process still applies. Number 1, paper colour A for me. So I've just cut my brown strip of paper to cover section number 1 here with the fold facing towards the middle and the flap facing upwards. Now, I recommended you all paused before you do your 1 strip to watch that process. So if you guys want to have a go at putting your number 1 strip down. Now, top tip, when you're placing your sticky tape at each end, just make sure it doesn't come into this aperture window at all. You want to keep your tape over your card blank in here. And don't let your tape overlap the edges of your aperture either. Otherwise, you'll see this on the front of the design. So keep your sticky tape over the paper and the card. Fold facing towards the middle, flap facing upwards. Strip should overlap at each end. I'll let you guys place your number 1 strip. Please drop any comments in the chat. Just let us know.
Mum says, boarding in a plane, been watching from the airport, you're both doing great, love.
Aww. For those of you that missed my mum's test live earlier this week, my mum and my dad are actually on their way to Norway at the minute, which is very exciting. And I think she's tuned in from the airport, hence the comment. Okay. Hopefully we've all done strip number 1.
Question from Dawn. Does the tape go over the fold in the paper or just the folded bit?
I would put it over the fold too, just because it'll sit flat if you've stuck the fold down as well.
Yeah.
There you go. Any other questions? Or should I move on to number 2? Okay. I'm going to move on to number 2. Now, I will say at this point that that's it. Iris folding does not get any more complicated than what you've just seen there. You're going to repeat that process now all the way around your cat shape, building it up layer by layer. And the same process applies for those of you that are doing the side profile. So I'm just going to pause there a second and grab my side profile and just show you what it would look like if you're doing the side profile. So for the side profile, actually, your strip will go over both number 1s at the top of the side profile. So you've cut your strip big enough to cover both of those number 1s. And the same process being folded edge facing towards the middle of the design, flap facing upwards, and sticky tape at each end. So I'll just show you, for those of you that are doing the side profile, what that would look like. Now, what I will point out is I highly don't recommend you move your aperture once you've stuck it down, because sometimes getting it back in the same place can be a little bit tricky, especially as you go throughout the process. So don't do what I just did. That was just so I could show you the side profile. Okay. So number 2. So we're going to repeat what we just did there. So you check your colour guide. So for me, number 2 is actually black, paper colour D. I'm just going to move this down slightly so you can see, because I've realised my colour guide's a little bit high. Just move this down. There we go. There we go. Okay, you can see my colour guide a little bit better now. So, paper colour D is my number 2. So remember, always colour order. Don't be tempted to do all the numbers in the same box first. Always go in number order, no matter what colours you're using. Number 2 is next. If you're following your alternate mother cat guide, number 2, paper colour D, for me is black. So same process. I'm going to cut a strip just big enough to overlap section number 2, which is at the top of the mother cat. Cut it to size. And then with sticky tape, hold it down in place. again, making sure that your sticky tape does not come into this aperture window or go over the edge of the card at all. Okay, so hopefully you guys feel comfortable with that process so far. And like I said, it's exactly the same process as we're going to build up round Mother Cat. So number 3 is next. You find number 3 on your pattern, which is actually the little top of the tail here. You check your colour guide, so number 3 is paper colour A, and repeat that process, building it round layer by layer, just keeping in mind where your sticky tape is going. And also keep in mind to your sticky tape not to come into the little kitten window either, because you don't want to be able to see the tape through the kitten. And that's it. That is all there is to iris folding. You're just going to keep going through that process and drop any questions with Callum in the chat.
Stephanie's just asked, how is the number placement decided?
That's a really good question, Stephanie. That's my brain.
Yeah.
I guess the simplest answer. Iris folding templates is something that now I've done iris folding for quite a long time. I can kind of see where all of those lines and numbers need to be before I make it, because I've made so many cards, which I know probably sounds a little bit odd. So I often, well, when we're brainstorming ideas, so when Cats Protection approached us to come up with some cat designs, I then went away, had to think about different cat shapes. So I start by thinking about what I want the outline to be, what kind of shape of a cat would I want to create. And then I think about how the lines would have to be placed to create that spiral, which is the traditional iris folding effect, and what order the papers would have to go down to make sure the layers sit in the right way to build it up so that it gets round to the centre point in the middle, which is quite hard to articulate and I guess might not make a lot of sense, but it's something that I often play around with in my head and on a computer software, moving lines and numbers until they kind of build up in the way that I'd like them to build, really. I hope that answers the question. Okay.
Another good question from Victoria. What's the purpose of the fold on each strip of paper?
That's a really good question. So folding is traditional iris folding and it creates some depth. So let me grab a different card from up here. So folding means that we've got some depth to the card, which means it looks like that center point kind of moves away from you when you look at the card. It just adds a little bit of a 3D effect. If you didn't fold the paper, you'd still have the look of a spiral, but it would just be quite flat. And so some people actually do iris folding with things like ribbon, and ribbon, as you can imagine, is quite tricky to fold, but you could just place strips of ribbon to create the spiral effect without it having much of the 3D effect. So you don't have to fold, but I quite like the 3D effect to it that you get when you do fold. I hope that answers the question too.
Saved a few questions from earlier on.
Okay, so
Go on.
Before we get into questions, I'll just say that for the next kind of, what sort of time are we on? For the next kind of 20 minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep sticking strips going around this spiral effect roughly at the same time you guys are, doing number at a time, alternating my colours. And while we do that, you can drop some questions. I've got some questions for you guys that I've saved while we do that process. But if you do come up with anything during that time, please just let us know as I kind of build this up. I won't keep talking you through each strip. Now you know what you're doing. So go on, Callum. What questions have come up?
From Liam, it was a while ago. Do you have any cats?
No, we don't have any cats anymore. We do have quite a complex pet history in our house. It's the Asplund family. Well, I say Asplund family. Our house is now Asplund, Kelly, Cook, Booth, Malone household. We've got quite a big family house now. We did have cats. In fact, one of, I think, the first pet we ever had, if I'm looking at directions, because Callum's there, was Joel, our cat, who is ginger and white. I think we did post a picture on the group of me when I was a child, was our first pet, and Callum, and I were particularly fond of Joel as a young kids. Did we have Joel from when we were born or really young?
I think so, yeah.
We had Joel for as long as I can remember. I can't, but I do.
Had him in Leeds.
Yeah, I think we might have had Joel before we were born. Just for context, there's 2 years. There's 18 months or so between Callum and I. so similar ages. I think we had Joel. Yeah, for as long as we remember. So we had Joel. I don't know if I'm going to get the order of all these pets right, Callum. Had Joel. Then I think we had a rabbit. We had Snowy for a while. We had various hamsters, different. Yeah. Peaches was my favourite. Loved Peaches.
Hammy.
My little Hammy. I don't remember you having a hamster called Hammy.
He was the one who climbed on the bars at the top, like Spider-Man.
I thought that was my hamster Jessie.
No. Can't be.
We had various hamsters over the years. Then we had. Oh, then when I was 13. So when I was 13, Callum was 11. Our great aunt passed away, and she had loads of animals over the years. I think at her peak probably had maybe 10 cats and 2 dogs. At her peak full house had lots of pets. So we did grow up around pets as well. And when she passed away, she had 3 cats and a dog that we inherited. So we had Snowball, Lucky, and was it Tammy? Tabby? I can't remember. Sadly, Tammy, I can't remember, didn't live very long after we got her. But that was the first time our family ever owned a dog as well. Lucky we had for a really long time after that. I think he was quite young. My great aunt often rescued cats, so she was never quite sure on how old they were at the time that we got them. And yeah, had Tammy, Lucky, and Snowy. Also had the dog. Oh my gosh, what was Xena? Xena, who's a Rottweiler. Lovely dog, but quite elderly. We only had Xena for a few months. And then that was what convinced my parents to let us get a family dog, which is one of the things my brother and I were nagging throughout our childhood. So then we got Harvey, of which I think I did post a picture of Harvey because he loves to keep us company when we're working and crafting recently. So we have our dog Harvey. We got Harvey then. A few years after that, Snowball passed away, and Lucky and Harvey became best friends for a really long time. But that was over 14 years ago now, so Lucky's no longer with us. Harvey is very much an old boy now. He's 13. And I also got my Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, Phoebe, 9 years ago now. No, not that long ago. She can't be 9.
5, 6.
I got her when I was 20, now I'm 27. 7. Do some quick mental math there. So at the minute we have 2 dogs, and then when my best friend Amanda, my brother's partner Amanda, moved in, Amanda brought with her gerbil, so we had a gerbil for a while too. So we've had all sorts in this house. That was a really long story of our pet history. I think I might have covered it all. Yeah, let's go with that. I think I covered all the pet history. I missed any? I'm trying to think if I missed any. Yeah, I think I've got them all. And yeah, we've got the 2 dogs now, Phoebe and Harvey. My dad all the time says Harvey needs a cat in his life because him and Lucky were best friends. Harvey, our dog, and cat Lucky, who was all black, were absolute best friends. They would cuddle, they would play together. They were honestly adorable. So Dad keeps prompting Mum. I think he's less keen on the idea of having more pets in our house, considering our house is full of people and dogs at the minute. As I mentioned, we are a big family house here in Yorkshire. So yeah, hopefully that answers the pets question. Any other questions, Callum? You said you'd say
David from Grimsby said, "How long have you been crafting for?"
That's a good question, David. Oh, before I go on to David's question, while I think, let Callum and I know what pets you have. I love hearing about what animals people have got at home and what kind of characters they are and things like that. So let us know in the comments, and Callum can read some of them out while we're crafting. In terms of how long have I been crafting for? That's a very good question, David. Probably since I could walk or move. My mum has been quite creative, and so has my gran. So Callum and I grew up with family members who loved creating things. And iris folding was one of those things where I think we came across it first when we were about 6 or 7. And Mum and Gran used to go to a card group, which, there we go. Mum and Gran used to go to a card group, and they'd come home in this card class and teach Callum and I the different techniques that they learned at this card group. And iris folding was one of them. And so we first learned it around 6 or 7. We did various crafts growing up, everything from hammer beads. Hammer beads was a really big thing we did for a long time. We also did, I'm trying to think what things we did. We've done lots of different painting, little bit of origami. And as I got older, kept creativity was a really big part of my life too. So I think I mentioned I would share this story earlier. So crafting for me became really important in my life in around 2015. So in 2015, I was actually a gymnast and a competitive athlete and coached British women's gymnastics in a gym. And then, unfortunately, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, also known as ME, at that time when I was 17, which meant I could no longer do gymnastics, and sport and fitness, which was previously a huge part of my life, was my escapism, was that thing that I did to find a sense of purpose, I could no longer do. And it caused me to suffer with various different mental health challenges of anxiety and depression, alongside battling the autoimmune illness that I still live with today. And actually was in a wheelchair for 2 years after that, and had to find something else to give me a sense of purpose and some kind of escapism from the things that I was managing at the time. And that's when iris folding became even more important to me, because it became this thing that I could do from bed that didn't require too many tools. It didn't require too much energy. I could start and finish at different points, and also create something that actually had quite a stunning result. I felt proud of what I'd made, and it didn't look like a 5-year-old had tried to colour in between some lines. It actually looked quite impressive, and it kind of made me feel quite empowered at a time where I didn't actually have a whole lot of ability to do very much. And it really helped me through a difficult time. And that's when craft became really important to me, and it kind of actually accidentally spiraled into what you guys see now, because during lockdown I shared that on Instagram. I had time on my hands. I posted some pictures of the things I was making, and I shared my story online, and I had 10,000 followers in 3 months, and lots of kind of built a community of people that loved craft, and the craft meant more to them than just a hobby. It was actually a thing they did to relax at the end of a really stressful day. And I loved connecting with people that felt similar about craft, and equally supporting them through iris folding. Iris folding as a technique was something that empowered a lot of people in a similar position during lockdown. And that's when I started putting together craft kits like you see today that teach people how to do iris fold, but also how to do iris folding as self-care, as part of a process to give people like yourselves a sense of purpose and escapism whilst we're all figuring our way through the messy things of life. Life throws at all of us at various points. And fast forward 4 years later, now it's a family business. We ship to 54 different countries, and we support people across the world. And actually, Callum's now managing director, and I just support on a strategic level. And my mum helps part-time with customer service and the website. And my best friend and Callum's partner, Amanda, helps with social media and packing kits. Dad is often in the background supporting with accounts or building the craft cabin that we're in today, which is a cabin, a big, huge cabin in the bottom of our garden, which is our craft room. And Gran is often busy helping scoring and folding card and packing kits. She did the post runs in the early days when she could carry the amount of parcels that have to go to the post office. That isn't possible anymore, but she did used to do post runs for us. And it's become a family business, and various friends of mine have helped and do continue to help with the business along the way, particularly when my health isn't cooperating, which unfortunately it's not very much at the minute, and that puts a lot of pressure on Callum, who does a really wonderful job at holding down the fort when my body doesn't quite like to. So that was a lot of me waffling and how long I've been crafting for, but I thought it would be helpful to share a bit more about that story and how we got here today. I should remember to keep sticking my strips down. Everyone's going to start overtaking me off today again, Callum. I'm blowing back bits of paper. Okay, it would be really useful for us to know what number you've got to. So if you drop in the comments what number you're up to, then I can kind of judge whereabouts people are. Pausing is probably a good thing because I tend to whiz through it if I don't pause. So please let us know what number you got to.
Sue says, what a fabulous story. Well done to you and your whole family.
Oh, thank you,
Thanks,
Sue.
Sue.
It always makes me feel a little bit emotional when I tell it. And that's probably because I'm not feeling very well at the minute. But I always feel so incredibly grateful that I get to do this with the people that I love and the people that I care about, and that I have the support system of my mum and my best friend and my brother and my partners here today too, and that makes a huge difference. And the fact that I get to share this with also people with your like yourselves, it keeps me going on the days where I'm struggling. So thanks, Sue.
Okay, we've got a few 16, 17, 18,
Okay.
11, 28.
Oh, I just got to 11 too. Snap, whoever that was.
I think average is 17, 18.
Okay, nice. We're all going at a similar pace then. That's pretty good. There's no rush, guys. Please do it. We've got plenty of time in the session today to get through this. So I'd rather you focus on enjoying it. Like I said, you can always rewind and watch it back than thinking about rushing through it. And we will have a break shortly too. So for those of you that have been waiting to get your next cup of tea, we will have a little bit of a pause. So don't worry too much about that.
Sorry if I say your name wrong. Kerry or Seri says, my kit literally just arrived in the post. So
Oh!
start now.
That was fantastic timing.
Oh, that was cool.
Have we got any other questions, Cal?
We do. Kerry says, did you cut out all the apertures?
So we do cut out all the apertures here, not by hand. That would be some impressive feat if we did cut out all of these by hand. But we do have a little machine that is operated by a little, not so little Callum that does help us. But Callum does have to manually feed into this machine a sheet of card. The machine cuts it out, it comes back out, and Callum puts a new sheet of card in. So Callum spends hours a week cutting apertures. But actually, as you can imagine, that's quite tricky to do by hand, and we feel like it makes your experience much easier and much more relaxing if you don't have to do that part. So yeah, we do all that part for you. I say we. Callum does that part for you. That was a royal we. That wasn't appropriate for me to say.
Yeah, a lot of people thanking you for sharing your story with them.
No, I'm happy to.
That's Jane.
Where are we up to? 15. Any other questions, Cam?
How can I, from Sam, how can I personalise the kit to make it look like my cat? So,
to make it look more like your cat, you would think about what colour each of these numbers is going to be a little bit more carefully. So, for example, I can show you some examples. If you have a black cat, you would probably do all of your numbers in the same colour, and it would make a mother cat that looks a little bit like this one. If you have a white cat, you would do something similar. You do all your strips in white. Now, because the aperture card colour is white, to help your cat stand out, we suggest going around the outside with a pen or some kind, just to make your cat stand out on the card a little bit. If you have a brown cat, you might choose the kind of brown creamy tones of papers that are in the kit. Or if you have, let's have a look, a black and white cat, you might do a spiral a bit like this. If you had a black cat with a bit of a white chest, you'd probably do most of your numbers in black, but the couple on the chest, so that's 13 and 17, you might do in white, or come all the way across here through the white. So it depends on what colour you put where would influence how you make it look more like your cat. Now you would still, as I said at the start, have to go in number order. So you still go 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 33 on the mother cat. But what colour paper strip you put for each of those numbers is how you make it look a little bit more like your cat. I hope that helps.
Someone asks, is it a silhouette or a cry cut machine we use?
Ah, that's a really good question. So we use a silhouette Cameo 4, and people often ask me which I prefer. Both are fantastic for cutting out different card, paper, and other material elements. I always say that the Cricut, never quite sure how you pronounce that one. I always say that the Cricut or the Cricut is best for beginners, people who aren't as confident with technology, who are new to using design apps, because the software is much simpler. If you want more options in what you can do with the software in the machine, Silhouette is slightly better. So, but it's more complicated to learn and to use. That would probably be the kind of shortest, simplest way of comparing the two. But I will point out that the kits do come with the apertures pre-cut for you, but we actually sell a lot of our patterns, so the number template on the bottom, as PDFs that come with matching SVG files. So if you wanted to do iris folding again and be able to cut your own apertures with a machine, so say you've got a Cricut or a Silhouette machine, those PDF patterns come with the file to cut the aperture for you. So you just put that in your machine and it will cut your own apertures at home, and you can keep cutting them over and over again. If you don't have a cutting machine like a Cricut or a Silhouette and you're listening to me and thinking, what are those things? Don't worry, because you can always cut your apertures by hand, and those PDF pattern booklets that you can get online come with like a card template that's something you can trace round and cut out with a craft knife, so you can still create your own apertures. It just takes a little bit more time. I hope that answered the question. Please let me know if I haven't quite answered correctly.
Someone's asked, do you say apertures alone, as I'm not able to cut out from template?
Yes, so
card papers.
Probably be a bit more helpful for me to explain how our products work. So what you have in front of you is a kit. You have a Craft for Cats kit. And Callum, could you just pass me the add-on and the add-on? So some of you will have purchased an add-on pack to go with the kit, which looks a bit like this. So that comes with the 3 extra apertures cut out, 3 more coloured card blanks. And if you haven't purchased one of these, or if you've purchased one and you would like more of these, because your patterns are already in your kit, all you need to keep crafting are the apertures in the card. You can get these on our website, so don't worry if you didn't buy those at the time or you want more of these. You can top up. Kind of these are kit add-on packs. So it's useful to understand the difference between a kit add-on and an aperture pack. So a kit add-on doesn't come with the pattern, because you've got the pattern in the kit already. You just need your aperture cards and your card blanks. Aperture packs are a little bit different. So this is a different cat one that we have. An aperture pack comes with your apertures cut out, as well as the pattern to match, so the numbered template. So you'd get the numbered template for the Proud Cat in here as well. You get your envelopes and your card blanks. The difference between a kit and an aperture is you just don't get any papers in here. So you can either use up papers from your kit to make your aperture cards, or you can buy paper packs separately as well. Cal?
Paper packs?
Yeah. Or you would buy paper packs separately, which come with lots of different colours, like these here, to make your aperture packs. And you can get all sorts of different kind of designs. So hopefully that explains a little bit of the difference between kit add-ons, apertures, kits, papers, and also the PDF patterns, which you just get the patterns on their own. I hope that kind of clarifies things. I'll get Callum to share some links in the chat so you can kind of see the differences online too. Okay, so where am I up to? 21. No, 19. Just keep an eye on time. I think it might be time for a little break soon. So what I'll just do a few more minutes until 1/4 past, and then at 1/4 past we'll stop for a little tea and coffee break. And for those of you that want to keep folding and sticking your strips, you can do. For those of you that want to grab a tea or coffee, you can. So I think, yeah, let's pause there. And if we come back at 11:25, about 10 minutes, like I said, if you want to keep folding and sticking your strips, keep going until you get to number 33, or grab a tea or a coffee. I'm definitely going to make a fresh cup of tea. And yeah, we'll keep going. So 10 minutes, I think 11:25, and we'll keep going on there. Thanks, guys. I'm just going to nip and grab a tea too. Hello, I'm back. Oh, we've got a dog. Phoebe, do you want to come say hi? Come here. Come on. Come say hello. Oh, let me get Phoebe. You can have say a quick hello to a doggo. This is Phoebes. Phoebes can't breathe very well through her nose, as you probably just heard. And she had a haircut yesterday, so she's nice and well trimmed for you. But me, Phoebe's my Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. And as a lot of Cavaliers do, she has quite a words, Bethan. Short nose is what I'm trying to say. So she does snort quite a lot, which makes, there you go, perfect example of a funny Phoebe noise. She's our most cuddly of our two dogs and is happiest when she's sat on someone's lap, getting lots of love and attention, which I can relate to be honest. If I could sit and just have lots of love and attention all day, I probably would. Do any of you guys watching have little pets sat nearby when you're crafting?
I was going to say there's been a few comments of cats trying to get involved.
Trying to get involved, that's funny.
Sounds like, yeah.
I guess they can jump up on tables a bit more than dogs can, can't they?
Sounds like what they've been trained to do.
That's funny. Right, let me put Phoebe down and carry on crafting. Ooh. Go on, Phoebes. Okay, right. So, I was going to say that I think a few of you have stuck all your strips down already. So, I'm going to kind of whiz through these last few. It won't take me very long to catch up. And for those of you that have still got some strips to do not worry, because you can pause it and pick it up later, and I will recap things as we go. But I just want to get everyone to the same point, or at least so people aren't waiting too long. I will. What are you going to say, Cam?
Amanda says, my cat has taken the sellotape holder.
Oh dear. That's quite funny. I wonder what was so appealing about the sellotape holder. I just got really confused, Cal, because I saw the door move behind you and I was like, why is the door just moving on its own? And it's because the dog, I think, is going in and out. What was I going to say? Oh, I know a few of you checked the comments while we were on a break, and a few of you were saying how you were finding it hard to resist peeking. I know it's tricky. It definitely is difficult to resist peeking, but getting the aperture back down in the same place can be really tricky. So well done for being patient with the process. Gonna need some more orange. Callum, while I'm whizzing through these last few strips, are there any other questions? I think there were a few others. Do you want to see how I can help?
Christine says, have you ever tried doing this with fabric?
I personally haven't tried with fabric, but I do know people who have. And what they often do is they press the fabric fold first with an iron to create the crease and then stitch it in place. And a lot of people have, I think it's got a different name. I want to say it's called paper piecing, which is ironic because it's not paper. But I think that's the name of when you do it with fabric, and you can get patterns to do it specifically with fabric. But as I said, I've personally not tried that. So if you do give it a go, please do send me a picture and let me know.
Elena has asked, why is it recommended to fold the paper 1/3?
The width of how much you fold actually isn't that important. What is more important is that you are, one, creating a fold, and to do that you have to do some width of a fold to create a fold in the paper. That creates the depth, like we said earlier. But the third is, what you need to make sure of is that, 1 second, let me stick this down. The width of your strip after you've folded has to be wider than the section you're covering. So what sometimes happens when people fold it all the way in half is they end up with quite a narrow strip, and that's not always wide enough to cover the block section that you're covering. I hope that makes sense. So 1/3 approximately often means there's enough strip width to cover the sections of the numbers. I just see Callum smiling in the corner, and I don't know what he's reading that's making him smile.
Michelle is she's currently working in a shop, and customers keep coming in. So
And interrupted.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But she's asked, do you have any horse apertures? Which I don't think we do.
We do have a PDF guide. We have a donkey aperture pack, which does look a little bit like a mini pony. You could do in browns and would look like a little pony. And we also have a unicorn/horse PDF pattern. So that makes a unicorn if you put the horn on it. If you leave the horn off, it makes a bit of a horse side profile, a bit like this kind of style card, a side profile, but of a horse head. We should really do some horse things soon. I used to horse ride a lot when I was younger, so I am equally as passionate about horses. So that's clearly something we need to do, Carl.
Yeah, farm animals kit would look pretty cool.
Farm animals is a really cute idea.
Sam has asked, how do you add the shiny paper? Which we're very nearly.
The glitter card, we are almost there. I'm at 30, so I'm just going to stick these last 4 down. And there's 31. And then we will be at glitter card stage. I love anything with a bit of sparkle. We actually have quite a lot of papers in our paper packs that sparkle and shine, so you can have sparkle on the folded bits as well as in the middle, which I am all for anything that sparkles and shines. 32. Last 2.
Louise says her pet Poppy is not interested at all. Decided to produce a fur ball instead.
Distracted in a different kind of way then. I always love how involved or not involved pets want to get. They're always causing chaos and disruption in some way or another, aren't they? Okay, so I've stuck my last strip down. Now, to cover the hole in the middle, you've got a few options. So as some of you have asked, you can use either your gold or silver glitter card that came in the kit, or you could use a strip of any of the paper that you've used, so in the middle too. Completely up to you. As I mentioned, I love anything that sparkles, so I'm going to go with a little bit of gold in the middle. So you're just going to cut a square big enough to cover the hole in the middle, face down over the hole like that. It doesn't need to be folded, and sellotape in place. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that. Just organise my desk space a little bit more. And when you've got your glitter card in place, it's time for the big reveal. Okay, so once you've put your glitter card down and all your strips are in place, you can turn over your iris folding and have a look from the front. So flip it over and you should have your iris folded mother cat. I'll have to share what your thoughts are in the comments, because I know a lot of you have been waiting for this big moment, and this might be the first time you've turned over an iris folding before, which is always a really exciting moment. It's definitely worth waiting for, right? And very much a trust the process kind of thing. Okay, so before we move on, I highly recommend you take a moment to just enjoy what you've done. Enjoy the depth, enjoy the effect, enjoy the way your colours and papers merge onto each other. Enjoy the moment of seeing your cat kind of come to life, and all that kind of hard work and patience you've had throughout the last hour has turned into a cat. Okay. So now, if you are doing the mother cat and kitten, what you would do is you turn it over, back over, and you do your folded strips for your kitten. If you've done the mother cat on its own, what you would do next is you'd use your foam sticky pads and you'd place them around the edge of your card aperture. So you start with one in each corner. Now I haven't done the kitten yet, so I am going to pause in a second, but you put one in each corner first.
Got a good question from Joanne.
You go on.
Can you stick the middle bit after you've revealed to make your decision?
Yeah, you can do that. Sometimes it's nice to have a look at what might work in the middle. So some people turn it over and try different things in the middle to see what works best. So foam pad in each corner, and I put a couple along the long edge and maybe a couple along the short edge too. Same process if you're doing one of the square cards as well. And like I said, I haven't done the kitten yet, so I'm not going to peel the backs off these. But for those of you that are doing the square card and are finished at this point, you peel the backs off these because they're sticky. So they've each got little, take that off there so it'd make it sticky. I'm going to put that back down so it's not sticky for me. And then you grab your chosen coloured card blank and you'd stick it in, dropping it, stick it in the middle of your card here. Or you could stick it to one side if you wanted a slightly kind of skewed look like that. And the foam pads just give you a little bit of depth between the card aperture and the card blank for the folds to sit. So it should lie nice and flat on the front because the foam pads lift it off quite nicely. If any of you have any white tack left on your card, a little bit of a tip, grab a little blob and just dab it on the little kind of bit residue remaining, and it'll lift any off left on the card. There you go.
There's a lot of comments coming through saying fantastic, I love it.
Oh, that's great.
Sharon says, I love mine, it looks so professional.
I'm sure it does look professional.
Good question, Georgina. How do you add a collar?
A collar, okay. So we'll get to the finishing touches now. So some of you might have done the cat and the kitten, the mother cat and the kitten like I have, and so it might be at a point where you want to put it back down and do the rest of your strips. If that's what you want to do, then please carry on while I'm talking about finishing touches, because remember, you can rewatch this back. So you feel free to make your kitten. If you're ready to add finishing touches, now you've got lots of different options on how you do that. So in terms of a collar, it would depend whether you want to make it out of the glitter card or you want to make it out of one of your papers. But pretty much you want to cut a strip of something the same, just a little bit longer than the width of the cat's neck. So you want it to overlap the width of the cat's neck at each end, so about there for me. You could mark it with a pencil or you can just fold it a little bit like I have. And then just cut it a few millimeters wide. Cut a little strip. There we go, so it's a little bit longer than the cat's neck. And all you do is you put a little bit of glue on the back. Just grab some glue. Like that. And slide it under the edge at each side. So slide it under the edge at each side. And there you have your collar. I'll just lift that up a little bit closer to the camera. There you go, so you can see. So I've just tucked the collar under each side of the neck and put a little bit of glue, and you've got your collar. And then if you want to add a little bit of a tag or a gem to the front of it, you could use one of your colours that you've used in your cat or another colour. So let's go with a little black kind of gem or tag. So I think
says, this whole thing has just been amazing. Blown away with how good it looks and how fun it has been following along making it.
Oh, I'm really glad you've enjoyed it, Lauren. Thank you for joining. And hopefully, as I said at the start, my goal for today was that you ended this craft along feeling a little bit more relaxed than you did at the start. So, put that little bit of a black kind of tag in the middle. There we go. Okay. Just slide that along a bit. I think I've quite got it in the middle. There we go. So just looks like he's got a little bit of a black tag. Finish him off. Okay. Now, in terms of other ways to finish your cards, so I thought, let's just check time. 22. Okay. I thought I'd show you a few, because we've made a lot of different samples with the cards in the kit. So I thought I'd flick through lots of different ways that you can add greetings or collars or finishing touches to the cards using the materials in the kit. And then I'll go through other ways that you can add some finishing touches, maybe using other things that you have in your craft room as well. So since we started with the mother cat today, let me grab all the mother cat samples that we have here and show you them. I'll just have another sip of my tea. Okay, so we made a lot of these on blue card. As you can see, a lot of the sentiments in the kit, like this with love, tie in and colour match and coordinate with the papers and the card, which just makes it easier to finish off your card in a kind of cohesive way. So we've used 2 greetings here, which I often think kind of brings the colours together quite nicely. So we've chosen a black to complement the black papers and the blue to complement the card. We've got happy birthday with love, and obviously added a little silver collar to the black one too. I will say that for those of you that are folding in one colour, finishing off the cat with the same colour paper can be quite an effective silhouette like we've got here. So instead of the glitter card, but if you like sparkle, like I said, I absolutely love sparkle, then you can do that too. And as I mentioned earlier, if you have chosen white, sometimes adding an outline to your cat with a pen or a marker or something like that, a gel pen, a glitter pen, can just make your cat pop on the card a little bit more. You can also put your greetings in opposite corners, and again, using the colours to tie in with the light and the darker grey papers can work quite nicely. And there was another version with kind of a silver collar and a little black tag on there too. And of course the browns, and again the brown greeting ties in with the light brown paper, so it kind of ties those colours in together. And then we've also got the side profile. So again, you can put your greeting, you're the best, in the top corner to tie your colours in. Or you can mount your greeting, like we've mounted the with love here on the silver glitter card, just to give it, kind of go a little bit closer, just to give it that extra sparkle. And we've got the horizontal and the vertical greetings, and the kind of 2 together can look quite nicely, particularly on the profile. And obviously the longer greetings fit quite nicely underneath too. And then finally, I'll show you some of the mother cat and kitten samples. So again, knocking my glue stick over. Again, you can add 2 different greetings in 2 different colours, which often kind of makes them stand out and complements the other colours on the page. So we've done that a couple of times here. Have a perfect day, and from the cat. And the vertical greetings look quite nice on this card too, just a little bit different to the horizontal ones. And again, you can mount your greeting on glitter card for a bit of extra sparkle. There you go. Okay, so hopefully that gives you some ideas on how you can finish off your cards, where you can place your greetings. Having them at an angle can also just avoid the kind of trying to straighten things up, because I think something's slightly not straight, it really irritates me. Whereas if you intentionally put it at an angle, it avoids any frustrations around that. So that's just a little bit of a tip if any of you are concerned about getting straight lines. I don't think I mentioned yet that actually you can stick these on with glue or foam pads. So actually a lot of the greetings that we've mounted to these samples, we've used the foam pads again, and just lifting the greeting off adds a bit of depth to the design, so you can do that too. Any other questions, Carl, before I move on to kind of decorating and finishing our cards in other ways?
We've got a lot of thank yous coming in. Mandy and Deborah says thank you both. It's been lovely crafting along. And Sheila has asked, how do you attach the paper insert?
The insert, okay, that's a very good question, Sheila. So let's take one of our cards here. So this is one of the ones I finished earlier. Say actually it might not have been me. I think Mum might have made this one, my mum Mandy, so let me just not take credit for something my mum did there. So adding an insert, I've got my A5 card here. So if you've used the mother cat and kitten card, you'll want the A5 insert. If you use your square, you'll want the square one. Now you've got 2 options. You can either leave this piece of paper, which is folded in half for you already, the same size, or you can trim it down slightly trimming off not the folded edge. If you trim the folded edge, obviously it won't be folded anymore. Just double check you're trimming the right edge. Or you can trim a little bit off each edge to add a nice border of colour inside the card. I prefer trimming it down slightly. If you've got a guillotine to hand or something like that, paper guillotine, I recommend you do that just because it makes sure your line's super straight. Or you can use a pair of scissors if you don't, to trim it down. I'd probably trim about 1 centimetre off the long edge and 1 centimetre off the top edge. I'm just gonna ask Callum if we've got the small little paper guillotine to hand. I think there's one on the craft desk at the top of the cabin. Just so I can make sure my line's nice and straight. Or in fact, I've got one here, Cal. Spotted one. Oh, it's not a small one, it's a big one, but it does the job. So just put that here. So I'm going to trim about 1 centimetre off the short edge and 1 centimetre about off the long edge, the non-folded long edge. There we go. How can I just pass you that so it's out of the way, please? Thank you. Now you can use either double-sided tape or glue, and you want to put a line of glue or double-sided tape along the folded edge. So I'm going to use double-sided tape. And Cal, would you mind grabbing the tweezers, please? Because with my long, very pretty manicure, but not very practical for crafting nails, I need tweezers to peel the back of double-sided tape because I can never do it without them, really. Okay, so I've just torn a bit of double-sided tape off there. So just put one strip down the folded edge of my insert. I'll just kind of flip it open so you can see one strip of double-sided tape. Let me see if I can give it a go. Oh, I might be getting there. Oh, did it? Never mind. Look at that. Can do it. Okay, so I've peeled the edge of my double-sided tape. Now I'm just going to open up my card.
Guillotine, I haven't found it.
And I'm going to line the folded edge of the paper, so my double-sided tape's on that side, up with the folded edge of the card. And stick it down. So you should have a border of colour inside, and that will open up quite nicely to create your insert. So you can write your message on this side, and then that just kind of hangs loose. And that's how you finish off your card. I'll move our pattern out of the way because we're done with that now. Now, I will also point out, Callum, I think our frames are behind you.
Yes.
Could you have a look for a 6x6 frame? So our square designs, I know some of you have talked about framing them already. Our square cards fit really quite nicely. In fact, let's grab this one. In 6x6 box frames, which you can get from any kind of main high street retail stores like The Range, The Works, those kind of things. 6x6 box frames will fit these designs in perfectly. So you can finish off your card and look and hang it on your wall. Keep them like that. Or alternatively, if you've done the A5 one and you'd like to frame it, if you mount this to a piece of A4 card, you'll have a bit of a border around the edge, which is quite nice. Then it will fit in a nice A4 frame too. So just another idea of what you can do with your cards at the end. Just time check. Okay, 10 minutes. So what I might just give you some ideas on is how you can finish off your card using other materials you might have in your craft room. So for example, let's grab a couple of different cards from over here. Let's grab Mother Cat and this one. Now, in lots of our other craft kits, you get a variety of different embellishments, and we also got lots on the shop too. So if you wanted to add any other finishing touches to your designs, maybe you want to add a little butterfly with some gems. For example, we've got these gems, which look a bit like flowers, but actually, when you piece some of them together, and I am going to need tweezers. Pass me that pot over there, Cal. There might be some in there.
Oh, yeah. There is some.
Not those ones, the Tilly Victor ones. No. Or there should be some purple ones on the desk, up on Mum's craft desk. Okay, No worries, I'll try use my nails. So let's add, what colour butterfly should we go for? Let's go with blue. You can use little gems like this. I'll do my best with my nails. Let's go with blue and yellow because we've used gold in the middle here to create a little butterfly with these. They're lovely shape for butterfly wings. Pop these off. There we go. Maybe this one. Just again, I love it, and that kind of an excuse to add more glitz and sparkle and shine to a card. Goodness me, this is challenging without tweezers, but you know, we do what we can. Concentration faces on now. Okay.
Jane says my insert has been signed by a muddy little cat paw.
Well, that didn't last long, did it?
He's not impressed that it's really now signed and I'm not fixing it.
Hey, I'm sure there's like a phrase that's like, oh, here we go. Cats leave paw prints on our hearts and our cards. We'll just add that on in little scribbles at the end of the sentiment. So yeah, you can add a little butterfly in the top corner, which is always quite cute, or you can add a little bow. We've also got little bows like these, which make quite cute cat collars. Let me grab a little bow from here. Ooh. So you could add a little bow to your cat, which I always think is quite cute in the middle there. With a nice way to finish it off. I'll lift it up so you can see. I always think that's quite cute. Or, and some of you might think I'm speaking way too soon when these words come out of my mouth, but if we think about Christmas, one thing you could do, say, let's take this one, is you could add some baubles. We've got these really cute bauble embellishments to the top corner, which, oh, take that out of the way, which I always think add quite a nice finishing touch to the card. So if you are thinking about Christmas, dare I say that too soon, but if you like to be super prepared like me, then you could add some baubles. You might have those in your craft room. These baubles are actually in our new cute and cuddly craft kit, which Carol's gonna just grab me. Thanks. So our cute and cuddly craft kit comes with either Christmas embellishments, comes with general embellishments, or both, and you can make 2 of the proud cats, which is a different kind of cat than what you've got in this kit. You can make 2 playful puppies and 2 little bunny rabbits there. In fact, I've got some of the cards to hand to, so you can have a look. But with you, the baubles come with the Christmas embellishments in that kit. So if you were thinking Christmas and you wanted to add some Christmas finishing touches, in fact, I've got a picture of our playful puppy with some baubles on there and a little Santa hat, and also there's the playful puppy with the general embellishments, playing with a little ball. And where's our Christmas cat? Here he is, Christmas proud cat, looking up to a Christmas star, which is cute. Oh, I love the colour, the contrast of the purple and the orange cat on this one with the butterfly and the ball of wool. And the little bunnies, which are quite cute. So yeah, just other ideas, and I can say adding some little gems to your greeting is also quite a nice way to put other finishing touches on your cards. So many different ways that you can kind of tidy up your designs, and like I said, lots of different products and there's lots of different embellishments and things like that. One thing I will just remind you of as well, if you have enjoyed today's and you want to make more cats and you've only just got your kit, or you've got your kit and your add-on and you want to make even more, you can still get the add-on pack, which comes with an extra 3 apertures to match the ones that you've made today, 3 more card blanks so you can make even more cat cards. And I think Callum can drop the link to that in the chat, because you can still get hold of your add-on pack as well, because you've got your patterns already, so this would just top your kit up to make some more cat cards. Now, I'm trying to think if I've missed anything. Callum, have we got any more questions that I can help answer at all?
Not at the moment, but feel free to ask away, guys.
Yeah, please do. We've got a few more minutes left. I'm happy to hang
Final
around
questions.
for 5 more minutes if we've got any final questions or ideas or questions about other products, other ideas, other kind of ways, any iris holding questions or anything about the process you want me to clarify. Please just let us know and we can answer in the comments.
So post your pictures as well.
Oh yeah, pictures. Yeah, please do send some
group.
pictures. I'd love to see what you've made today, how you finished off your cards, what kind of cats yours are looking like. And don't forget the hashtag craft the cats so we can keep up to date. Share them in the group and tag us because we'd love to see.
Susie has asked, will you be doing a Christmas kit?
A Christmas kit. So we do have lots of Christmas kits. The cute and cuddly one I just showed you comes with Christmas embellishments, so you can do Christmas cute and cuddly ones. Or we've got some other different Christmas kits. We've got Christmas trees, we've got festive treats. There's got a gingerbread, a Christmas pudding. We've got Christmas collection, which is kind of like our big mega bundle that makes 10 cards that does stocking, tree, star, quite a few other things in there. What other Christmas one? We've got a Christmas limited edition woodland kit, so woodland Christmas, so that does a hedgehog, an owl and a robin, which is quite cute for Christmas cards. I'm trying to think, what have I missed, Carl? I feel like I've missed something.
Snowflakes.
Let It Snow. We have a Let It Snow kit with bauble, with snowflake, snow globe and a snowman in. We also have a winter bauble kit that does 3 different bauble designs, which is quite classy, in more contemporary colours, so kind of blues, greens, purples, turquoises, that kind of thing. Loads of different Christmas options, which is quite nice. And we're working on our advent calendar. Every year we do a craft advent calendar, limited edition. When they're gone, and every single day you get a new craft supply. So that will be coming out in September. So yeah.
Helen has asked, where do we find your contact/internet shop if we want to buy more?
Callum can drop it in the comments, but it's prettypaperbybee.com. Callum can drop the website and you can have a look. And don't forget, you can also watch YouTube's online as well. And this video and recording will be shared on the Cats Protection YouTube channel too. Just wondering, any other final questions? I really hope you've enjoyed today, guys, and I hope it's been useful to take you through the process from start to finish. If you're watching this recording kind of on catch up, you can always message us on social media. It's Pretty in Paper by B on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of the main social media platforms. You can send us a message and we can answer your iris folding questions, even if you're watching this recorded. So don't worry if you've got any more questions when you watch it back. Anything else?
A lot of thank yous.
Aww. I'm really glad you've enjoyed it, guys, and I hope my tired brain has done a good enough job of articulating all of these things. And hopefully, yeah, you've enjoyed your crafting experience. And just a reminder, and I guess a thank you from us to helping us raise money for cats protection, because that's, you know, why we're all here, is to help make a better life for cats. And actually £10 of each kit is going towards doing that. So thank you for helping us with that mission too. So yeah.
There's lots of questions. Just say I'll reply. I'll reply to all your questions. If I don't ask them all to Bethan, I'll go through and reply to them.
If there's any questions left, if you missed that, Callum's going to pick them up in the chat. So don't worry about if there's any left.
Good question. Joanne, do you know how many kits have been bought? How many kits? Cats kits, I assume.
Yes, that is a really good question. At least 1,000.
1,200, I think.
About 1,200 so far, around that.
Yeah.
We'll definitely follow up with the numbers shortly. I know Zoe and Kaylee from Cats Protection are kind of good. That's on their to-do list to share the final numbers with you after all of our fundraising. So yeah, we'll definitely share some more details with that soon.
Sue's asked, are the kits still available?
Yeah, kits are still available, and they will still be available after this period. Well, for now, they'll be on the Cats Protection website for another 2 weeks, and then they'll move over to the Pretty in Paper website. But yeah, you can keep shopping, and especially if you've got any kind of cat friends, it's a nice idea for a gift for Christmas, because even though that still feels far away, it always creeps up on me. So I always try to start thinking about presents when I can. So if you guys have friends and you're thinking, this is a nice letterbox gift as well. Anything else, Cam?
Lots more thank yous. Thank you for the presentation from Catherine.
I'm really glad you've enjoyed it. I was a little apprehensive about doing it under the weather today. So if you guys have enjoyed it and feel like it was useful, then count that as a win for me.
We are getting a few orders coming through as well. I thought I'd just mention that. I don't know if it's anyone in the chat, but there's a couple of orders coming through.
Well, please do let us know. Like I said, if you're watching this on catch up, please do reach out to us or the cat protection team, and we'll be able to help answer any of your questions post the live as well. You're not on your own. And yeah. Do you want to come round and say goodbye? Because he's in the background kind of hovering.
Smile earlier.
He's gonna have to climb over off around all the equipment. Can you squeeze through?
I'm coming.
Callum can say bye too.
Bye guys. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining. It's really lovely to have you, and yeah, thanks again for helping us support Cats Protection, and yeah, please do reach out with any more of your questions. So thanks.
Cheers guys.
Bye.
Bye for now.